Hi, it's Jane. Thank you for joining me for this first reading for the new year of 2026. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a great season of light. For this year, I've decided to do something a little bit different. Rather than read for the full moon and the new moon, I decided to follow the energies of nature. Since I'm a gardener, that's how I live. When it's raining, I'm inside. When it's warm, I'm outside. When it's cold, I'm dormant and resting, just like the plants. So I decided to have a theme for each month, and then each month I'll do two recordings. One probably around the first week of the month to ask the angels about the energy for that first half of the month. And then another recording probably around the third week of the month to ask the angels about the energy for the second half of the month. And each month will have a theme. So for this month, January, my theme is releasing the old, resting, and then looking forward to the new beginnings, new awakenings, new adventures, new experiences, new us, right? Because January is a time of resting from all the holidays and the hubbub and the end of year stuff, and a time also then of looking forward and even setting intentions. Some people do resolutions of how they want the new year to be with high hopes usually. So today what I did was I pulled cards, three cards. The first card, I asked the angels, what is it we are to release from 2025? The second card I asked, what should we embrace? Looking ahead, what are we to embrace in the new year of 2026? And the third card is, what are the first steps that we need to take to embark upon this year? So the first card I pulled, which is what to release from 2025. Excuse me, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so pardon me. So the first card is the Four of Canes. I hope that's clear. Um, this looks a little depressing because it's in a cemetery, but have no fear. What this card is saying is that it is a time of rest, right? Not necessarily eternal rest, but a time of rest for us. It's a time to allow more time to make our decisions, right? Don't rush into resolutions right away. Don't rush into your intentions right away. Sit back, do some self-care. The holidays were fun and hectic, and energies in December were a little woo, right? So it's time now to sit back. Just like the trees in the background are dormant, they're not growing, they're just waiting and resting and recouping from their growth period. So it's time for us to sit back, maybe meditate, maybe pray, maybe do a yoga, a movement meditation, something that will allow us to rest and release, right? This goes right in line with the full moon on Saturday, January 3rd, excuse me, which is a time of release. So here we are. What do we release? We release everything that no longer serves us from 2025. Put 2025 to bed. For a lot of people, it was a rough year. For me, it was just kind of a weird year. So I'm happy to have that in the history books, and that's where we should put it and leave it. Now, the next card, which is what are we to embrace in 2026? We got the lightning tree. Now, this looks pretty crazy, but look, you see all these little shadows. All the shadows and the ghosts from 2025, let them go. Chase them away, put them to bed, because we are now breaking out of our shell for 2026 to come out with new us, the real us, the inner core of who we are. And this is done through some really significant experiences in our life coming forward for us in 2026. In some decks, this card is called transformation. meaning there's some experience that's going to require us to make some significant changes. Now, this doesn't have to be a bad thing. It could very well be some experience that brings us like poof, great epiphanies of self-awareness or great flashes of inspiration for how we can handle an issue or how we're to move forward. So this should be greeted with not trepidation, but with a knowledge that we can grow in 2026 into a better us. We can make better decisions. We can be better people. A second card I got for that, for looking ahead, and again, this looks a little scary, but don't be scared. It's called the Justice card. And in this particular deck, oh, I forgot to tell you which deck I'm using. I'm so sorry. I'm using Yuletide Tarot by Christopher Hughes. This is a fun deck. Because we're still in the 12 days of Christmas, I thought it would be a good deck to use. So anyway, back to our card. This particular card is showing us that there are consequences to our actions, right? So that old adage of if you're on the naughty list, Santa's going to bring you coal, that's what's happening here. But what the real message is that there are consequences to our actions and our behaviors and our thoughts, right? When we think we're no good and we think we're less than others, there are consequences to that. So it's reminding us that as we go through 2026 and 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 break out of our shell, just remember that as we are becoming new us, right? We have to look at all sides of the situation, bring impartiality to it. The justice card often means that we need to stand up for what we believe, but do it with integrity. As long as how should I phrase this? As long as the changes we're making, we change with a view towards integrity, standing up for ourselves with integrity, um, we will be successful. Sometimes the justice card can also mean there might be some legal actions going on. In my personal life, that's true. Nothing big, nothing huge, nothing to worry about. But sometimes the reading's for the reader too. Okay, so we're going to rest. We embrace new us, new experiences in 2026. The last card is, what are our first steps to do this? How do we take our first steps? And the card that the angels gave me was the Eight of Good Cheer. Eight being a number meaning prosperity and abundance. There's certainly over the holidays, there's an abundance of partying and activities, and sometimes responsibilities, sometimes obligations. And this fellow is zipping up and saying, "This is great, but it's done now. It's run its course. I need to go home and rest." Right? He's not mad. He's had enough. It's time to go. And that's how we should think about 2025, particularly the holiday season. It was fun, it was fabulous. Now it's time, it's reached its natural conclusion. Now it's time to move on and go out to something new. Time to move on. There's a new journey ahead. There are new opportunities, and it's time to shift our priorities and our focus a little bit and move on. Another card that came out with this question of how do we move forward was the Chariot, which is a card that talks about, excuse me, success coming from hard work. So for many people, like I said, 2025 was really difficult. So the success of that will come in 2026, that we will experience, the changes for the better that we will experience, come from that hard work. So we should take all the lessons from 2025, put the emotions associated with them to bed, let that go, but bring the lessons forward and continue them to come and be better people, to make life better for ourselves and others. Pretty good, right? I think that's pretty good. So instead of uh, choosing a flower for this reading to work with, I felt that wasn't enough. This is a lot of very significant energy and very significant messages from the angels. So I wanted something more with more oomph. So I used the Tree Magic Oracle deck. This is by Gillian Kemp. All the cards talk about trees and their energies. And so the card that I pulled from that deck is the Yew Tree, Yew. Now, here in Northeast, in the suburbs, we think of yews as shrubs, but many of the species can grow into quite large trees. They are long-lived, and there's a resiliency there. In some indigenous cultures, the yew is seen as a bridge between the past and the future. Well, what better card for January where we're resting and then we'll later in the month set our intentions than a yew tree? The number is 45. In angel numbers, you add that together, 4 and 5 is 9. 9 is not just the completion of a cycle, which, you know, December was, but it's also in numerology, traditional numerology, talking about the time is right. So the time is right to work with the yew tree. The words on the card say, inner spiritual strength is renewed, bringing peace, certainty, and stability to nourish your soul. Well, what better card to go with our lightning card and transformation, but a card talking about spiritual strength and nourishing our soul, right? So here are some pictures of the yew tree. Like I said, in the suburbs, we often see them as little shrubs. And the thing that's really interesting is we can prune these in just about any shape. I've seen them in all shapes and sizes. Little round balls. We can plant them close together and they grow together and make like a privacy hedge, maybe a little protection for our soul and our spirit. They're a great backdrop for flowers in front. I have in my yard spring flowering bulbs in front, which is really pretty. And then they come out with these berries. And so this is kind of like almost, I don't know if you've ever squished them. I used to squish them when I was a child. But there's kind of like a gel. It's a viscous kind of gelatinous gel, and inside is the seed. So the birds eat these and other animals, and they spread the seeds. And these berries appear in late summer into the fall. So the message here is that it's resilience, it's hardiness, it's evergreen. And so we can think of the yew tree as we do our meditation and our prayers, that we be like this tree, that no matter what comes along, no matter how we're pruned, we can thrive and survive and have a great new year. So I wish you all the best. And until you come back next time for the reading on the third week for the end of the month, I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.